or right now we're going to have Tabu24, a top Spanish player, versus Flying Falcons, who I know used to compete in the NAIC or the North American circuit, but hasn't been as active in recent years, but definitely a strong player who's been in IRL top cuts before. So really an exciting match ahead of us.
Yeah, interesting. We just saw Flying Falcons, maybe maybe a match or two ago, and it was just basically just a matchup of like, oh, I have this tech, I have this tech, I have this tech, with the rising voltage, and then of course you have the taunt on the Whimsicott with the Terror Ghost, and then Shadow Ball along with Astral Barrage as well, just to get around potential wide guard. So interesting team sheets that we see. What, if anything, stands out to you that's like uniquely different on each side of these teams?
Yeah, I think the Tabu team is more or less the same as what Michael Derbesti popularized at North American Internationals, that Choice Scarf, a ride-on composition, and then, like you said, Flying Falcons, a bevy of extremely interesting tech moves. I don't think the Shadow Ball to dodge wide guard is going to be especially important in this matchup. Astral Barrage is going to be stronger, I think, in every possible scenario with no wide guard pressure, but definitely a cool option nonetheless. And the Electric Terrain being activated for the Rising Voltage, definitely look out for that, doubling the damage of that Electric type move. Yeah, and we get the Terrain and Photosynthesis active right away.
Yeah, we do have the Raging Bolt and the Miraidon just opting for a huge amount of damage, maybe potentially trying to go for a Flame Charge here, but Miraidon and Calyrex here, so you have your Trick Room option, and you just, of course, have your pivoting options for Tabu here. What do you think is the move here for Vichy? Do you go full all-in, or do you maybe take a little bit break? As you do see, actually, just a Draco right into the Raging Bolt, not able to pick up. Collision Course goes into the Miraidon, and we do see the Rising Voltage absolutely nuke the Calyrex.
Yeah, just getting a 1 at KO, that's pretty crazy. We see getting right into the action, another Draco Meteor fired off into the Koraidon this time. And the Raging Bolt just drops a Draco Meteor with the Photosynthesis special attack boost, just completely dominates the Landorus. And yeah, a 2-turn game 1, just absolute domination with that Raging Bolt lead after it lived the Draco Meteor in extremely clutch fashion. My goodness.
Yeah, not what we were expecting to see, but impressive nonetheless. That was pure offense at its finest. It was a crash course, and you can't do as much damage as I can. So if you're Tabu, you have to go back to the drawing board. What do you do here versus something like that?
Yeah, I think Tabu just got caught, really led poorly into the Raging Bolt, where maybe, I guess the best thing you can do is possibly lead either the Amoonguss or the Landorus to, one, redirect away the huge damage from the Raging Bolt, or just threaten the knockout with the Earth Power. However, doing that, you're very susceptible to the Koraidon's Fire-type coverage with the Terrifier, Flare Blitz probably knocking out both. And yeah, we do see the Landorus adjustment from Tabu, leading Miraidon Landorus into Koraidon Calyrex Shadow Rider.
Yeah, very interesting to see here. I mean, we have seen this Landorus doesn't really like to take some moves, even though the Calyrex really, normally want to keep it, save it around. But it's kind of perfect here just to lead, just to see what potentially happens here. You can just get off of Astral Barrage, as it looks like we're just getting protects all around. Everybody protecting except Miraidon because you can't. And opting to just potentially go for some easy ship damage here with a Volt Switch and reposition. Landorus in an amazing spot. So honestly, Flying Falcons is the one that has to kind of make the adjustment here. So what do you think this turn plays out like?
Yeah, pretty safe play there, just trying to figure out what Miraidon locked into. We see the Landorus switching out, not wanting to take an Astral Barrage or a Flare Blitz. We can intimidate the Koraidon due to the Clear Amulet, and we see Calyrex take a big chunk of damage, definitely in range for a knockout later in the game, as the Landorus takes an Astral on switch in and Flame Charge into the Incineroar. Not wanting to go full out offensive with the Flare Blitz, just opts for the speed boost to potentially later outspeed the Miraidon on Tabu's side with an even, at least, speed boost on both of them.
Yeah, honestly, I really like the fact you're going for a Flame Charge there, just like setting up for your mid to late game. Just like, hey, I just need some speed here. Calyrex is doing what Calyrex is supposed to do. I just needed to put everything in range, and then I can come in later with Raging Bolt. As long as Koraidon's relatively healthy here, I'm okay. So Landorus honestly took a lot of damage here. Your Ensign's not in a great position here. You do see the Protect come out. Collision Course is opting to say, you know what, I can take this Ensign right now, and Calyrex still can come in, and you still have to deal with this. I'm going to put something in range. And we do see the Calyrex Ice Rider hit the field. And honestly, I mean, it wasn't what I was expecting, but you didn't really have many options, because we do know it is Miraidon in the back.
Yeah, at this point, it's kind of a tricky spot where your Landorus is just way too low to really be useful outside of any speed control. Thankfully, the Calyrex Ice Rider has the Terra Fire to be able to survive a fire type attack from the Koraidon and resist the Astro Barrage on the field from the Calyrex, but you'd have to really just be sacking your Raging Bolt to get the Trick Room up. So going to be kind of a tricky turn here as we see the double switch of both of the players as the Calyrex goes for the Terra Fire.
Ooh, a big Astral Barrage comes out here, is able to do quite a bit, and we do finally see Trick Room growing up, but Raging Bolt sitting here pretty maps full HP, just kind of hanging out, and we do have Rhydon really can't really do anything just because it's Trick Room, so Calyrex has to do a lot of heavy lifting here. I'm not sure it's going to be able to do that, but you do have Glacial Lances, which will do a lot of damage. You do see the Terra come out from the Raging Bolt, and we do see the Draco into the Calyrex, not able to pick up there, but Astral Barrage should be able to pick up this Rhydon. Yep, and it absolutely does. So now Landorus comes back in, and you're still in a weird position where Calyrex is an issue, but your Landorus should underspeed the Raging Bolt.
Yeah, it's going to be a question of how fast the Landorus and the Raging Bolt are. Could be a quick Raging Bolt due to the Whimsicott on the team, but yeah, we see a double protect. The reason the Calyrex protected on the previous turn was both Electric Terrain and Sun were still active, so trying to diminish those special attack boosts, you probably would have gone down to a Terra Electric Thunderclap in those conditions, where as now you'll live. And if you can outspeed this Raging Bolt in Trick Room with your Landorus, you might actually have a double KO this turn with Earth Power Glacial Lance. So that's what Tabu is hoping for. It's really just going to shake out to how fast this Raging Bolt is and this Landorus is on this next turn.
Yeah, there's only 2 more turns of Trick Room here. You have to find some way to survive. And right now, there's only one potential situation you can have, but having to eat a Glacial Lance or Earth Power is not anything anybody wants to do. Nothing in this meta really wants that. We do see Indeedee in the back. This is going to be a way better switch in here, and you should be able to live this no problem. Koraidon will take a lot of damage, almost goes down immediately. Indeedee does go down, but at least you only lost 1 instead of 2, and there's only 1 more turn of Trick Room, so this should give Flying Falcons the advantage they need coming out of this Trick Room turn next turn.
Yeah, now with only 1 turn of Trick Room remaining, both Pokemon can easily go for a Protect, and there's no really counter that Tabu has at this point. On the following turn, you can go for Expanding Force and Collision Course, and it's just going to be a guaranteed KO on both Pokemon. Yeah, really no way around it at this point, and then Tabu doesn't even go for any odd Protects and just lets the Expanding Force go off, and we see the quick and dominant 2-0 from Flying Falcons, even though Trick Room went up, had the defensive resources on the board with a really excellent switch in, anticipating that Trick Room in previous turns with the Raging Bolt switch in.
Yeah, absolutely. And just Calyrex doing what Calyrex does, just opting to not be the setup type. Just, hey, I just need a lot of damage. And that's exactly what it did the whole entire time. I'm going to spam. I put on a lot of damage, get the spread moves in where I need. Spread moves are amazing in these formats, and it showed off really well. The Raging Bolt was one of the things that really kind of